Baturate maribulan Ma rencon rencon ma rencon rencon Laku tak nan ribin koe Ma rencon rencon ma rencon Baturate maribulan Ma rencon rencon ma rencon rencon Laku tak nan ribin koe Ma rencon
So yeah, we wanna can kind of make a connection between these 5 different time of that we had inhabit this world. Kabisa, thank you.
Yes. All right. So the 5 time zones that Uno just said, that is Central Indonesia time.
Yeah.
I think yes, make sure the audio is going on. Yeah, I hope the audio is going on and you can on the audio. Yeah, just wanted to make sure. All right, good. And then also that's Uno's time zone, so Central Indonesia time. And then West Indonesia time, me, Aceh, it's actually same in Phuket, like Indochina time. And then there's Eastern Daylight Time, so 10 a.m. in Liam Place. And then in Central European time in Delphine, so it's around like 4 p.m. In the afternoon at the moment. All right. So today's we are just going to have like a nongkrong, so there's no formal things and everything. There will be presentations, but most of it is just like sharing the picture and everything. So don't hesitate. We can just jump in if you wanted to say something. So no formal things. The nongkrong like you experience in Makassar will be just like that. That's why there are 2 hosts and everything. So it's just going to be like that. The conversations is just going to be like this. And then before we begin, both of you can actually choose who's going to go on first. But I'm going to start by kind of like introduce you to our
connection.
Yes, to everyone in YouTube, of course. And then it's actually just like a part of your like who are you and everything. All right. So I'm going to start with Liam. And of course, feel free to correct or add on it if you want it later on. And then, yeah, so, right. So, Liam Hannigan is a history of art major at Yale University at the moment. And then He has a deep passion for art. He has curated impactful projects, including the Please Touch Tactile exhibitions at Yale, which was funded by the Creative and Performing Arts Grant. And these exhibitions exploring decorative arts through tactile engagement highlights his innovative approach to curating. Liam's international experience added another layer to his impressive resume. Last year, in 2025, he traveled to Indonesia for his senior thesis, thanks to the Charles H. Siegel Traveling Fellowship, where he conducted research on contemporary art in Jakarta and Makassar. His work at prestigious institutions such as the Peggy Guggenheim Collections and the US Pavilion at the Venice Biennale further demonstrated his growing influence in the global art scene. With experience at Yale's art gallery and a keen interest in global art movements, Liam's curatorial work combines academic rigor with creativity. His future in the art world looks incredibly promising, blending hands-on exhibitions with insightful research that will undoubtedly leave a lasting impact. So that's Liam. So that's Liam there. And then now I'm going to introduce Delphine to you. So Delphine, I'm sorry if once again I cannot pronounce your last name. Kaadan already taught me, but I hope I'm going to pronounce it with the good things. Delphine Hyvrier. All right, like yeah, you can say that again.
Beautiful.
Is an artist. And then when he visited us 3 years ago, she was still a PhD candidate, but then now she gained her PhD, our Dr. Delphine, in Jean Monnet University, yes, in France. And then she studied design and cultural geography in Sorbonne, Paris, and Paris Vincent while working as a gardener in the Special School for Free Spaces in the Art Residency Center Les Laboratoires de Aubervilliers. Those experiences made her focus on the ways nature is depicted and interpreted according to the different social groups and researches in places where the notions of nature is non-consensual, reveal social fractures and power struggles. Since 2019, she studied the inventions of accidental way of living and its cultural and ecological consequences in France since the 50s by analyzing how autarkic farmers communities from French Guiana, Kourou, and Alps thickness were affected to create major modern projects such as the European spaceport and biggest dam in post-war Europe. And then in 2000, for about a month, from mid-November to mid-December in 2023, that was last 3 years ago, Delphine stays at Riwanua, Makassar to prepare on writing the last chapter of her PhD thesis in design and architectural studies that time. While doing it, she is also spending time by eating, hanging out, learning basic Bahasa Indonesia, sharing, talking, making garden, and composing a mural, presenting her stories as a European and traveling to Nrekang for 5 days with Riwanua to meet people and to find the nasu cemba and the steamed wandoti rice. During the travel to Nrekang, Delphine also starts to work with Reza Enem, a Makassar-based sound artist and a musician, to compose an audiovisual work that was presented in 2024. At the last day in Makassar, before leaving to Japan that time, we call it coincidentally because it wasn't planned. She also welcomes the ambassador of France and the director of Institute Francaise Indonesia, who visited Riwanua that time for lunch and discussing about the real future collaboration between Riwanua and the people of France. So that was a little bit of things that Liam and Delphine did with Riwanua Uno, and then maybe we can start the talk or the presentations right away.
Oh yeah, maybe we're gonna start with Liam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you for that introduction, Besse.
So we're gonna learn about Liam, hear his story, not based on the CV, but based on him directly. So yeah, time is yours, Liam.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
and thank you
Yeah.
all for Oh, we lost the presentation for a second.
This one.
But
This
yeah,
one.
I just I wanted to start. Andan suggested maybe beginning with a proverb from Irish, from the Irish language, which is my native language. But one that always sticks with me is Achnian Kirog Kirogala, which means one bug recognizes another bug. So when I arrived in Makassar, I felt that kind of connection of recognition. Importantly, not as Makassar on the periphery, but as you said, Besse as a cultural hub in its own right, as a central position, and as an ecosystem from which other places stretch out of. And I think the fact that we're connected along these time zones as well attests to that strong connection. Um, and I wanted to start by my first introduction to meeting Andan actually was in I was in Morocco, in Marrakesh, working with another collaborator called Le 18. And they were screening this first image is from a slide from a film project done in collaboration with Museoara Arsip, which is the archiving initiative as part of Riwanwa, and a Dutch filmmaker, Hans van Houwelingen. But the film kind of explores, this one was filmed in Java, but it's part of a project called the History Memory Commemoration. And it was looking at the effects of nationalism and national monuments on kind of living cultural memory, and also exploring it through intergenerational conversations. So it was a great introduction, and it also allowed me to see the expansive ecosystem going all the way to Morocco as well, beyond Indonesia and beyond European institutions. And then the second time I came across Andan was in Antwerp this summer in Belgium, where another project of Museoara Arsip's was produced. And in this case, the banners for the work were made by the Syndicat Otak Plastic collective in Makassar as well, who I got to meet when I traveled in the summer as well. So, but this work was about Ganefo, which was the alternative Olympic Games that were started by Sukarno in 1963, and the project was looking at the kind of impact and the people that were connected to the event. So the third photo is from a video work that was shown as part of the exhibition. This man called Laude Ganefo from Muna Island, who was actually a friend or a relative of Ian, who hangs out in Riwanwa a lot. So I think what I really want to note is that I was approaching these works from an art historical perspective, from a removed perspective, but then getting to travel to Makassar allowed me to see the people and the connections that were underlying all these projects, particularly here with Laude Ganefo. And then the next slide was me visiting the house of Ansar, who has this in Makassar, who has this massive archive of materials, of clocks, of radios, of digital equipment. And I think he provided some of the archival materials for the Ganefo exhibition that he had housed somewhere in his collection. So again, a testament to how local connections form this global network or fall into this global context. And thinking about Makassar itself as a global city with its extensive trade routes going back a long way, especially in a maritime context. And then moving on, here's just some photos of my time in Riwanwa with Andan and his family, and with some of the younger students that hang out Ian and Fami, who I spent a lot of time with, but importantly, who were also contributing to the Musiawara Arsip project, who had their own archives that they were building as well. Like Unu as well, I know was building an archive. So it was great to see how, starting in this global context, when I was seeing in Morocco, in Belgium, in Antwerp, and then coming to Makassar to see where it was all beginning, where this congregation was happening, and where the collaboration was ongoing, and the connection, as we're talking about, with Koneksi TAMALANREA as well. So, and then near the end of my trip, we early morning went to the fish market in Makassar, which again attests to the importance of local knowledge, of local produce. And then finally, we had a big gathering that we all cooked up, which was fantastic, laid out on the banana leaves in the center. And again, at this time, a group of artists from Italy, from Palermo, were visiting as well and beginning their own research project just as I was leaving. So I could really see the continuation and thinking about Makassar again as a hub, a place that artists were traveling to, as a place of nongkrong, of hanging out. And I just again wanted to thank all of you for inviting me in, and for hosting me so well during my time there.
Oh, that was really beautiful.
Wow, that's beautiful. There is food. There's a little bit of background story there. Yeah.
I'm crawling every day.
Every day nongkronging,
Every
yeah.
day. Yes, great. Of course, we're going to talk about a lot about that later on, to just like kind of like commemorate like what happened there.
Memory.
Yes, but then maybe we are going to continue to delve in first, and then we're going to kind of like share, kind of like not discuss, but like kind of like maybe see like is it like the same experience with Delphine as well in involving the food, or there's another things that maybe from Delphine perspective when she stay with us.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Please
So,
read.
I'm waiting for the presentation, right?
Yep.
Did you
Uh,
lost the presentation?
Yeah. I think
That's
I
fine.
closed
Okay.
our preparation before. Oh my, where is it? On my way, finding a Delphine presentation. Yeah, we can have a trivia to talk about
Gosh, we're
something
just, yeah.
interesting. So yeah.
That's just the connections, okay? So everyone.
And we're losing you, Besse, or is it me? No?
Yeah, I can't hear Besse.
All right.
Besse, we can't hear you.
All right. Now even Uno is out of the picture.
Well, we
Three
can
of
hear
us.
you now, Besse. So
Sorry?
that's better. Oh, we couldn't hear you for a second, but now you're back, so that's
Yeah,
good.
I'm sorry. I think, yeah, that's what I'm saying about the connections here. I think that's the reasons why. uh, yeah. So in the part of Indonesia where I am now, about 4 months ago, we got flooding, and then for 1 week we don't have any electricity in this place. So everything back to normal, of course, but then the connections, the blackout, the electricity is actually, yeah, not, yeah, it can be just like fading out and everything. Oh, I think we got it. Is this the first? Is this the first slide of yours? So yeah, and then no.
First slide.
Oh, I'm back again. Sorry, this is part of our connection. So connection also means this kind of thing. Lost and connect. Oh my. Can you see that?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect? Is it perfect? Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that's our reality that we inhabit together. The connection, the time zone, time difference, different location, and then yeah. Delphine, time is yours.
Yeah, okay. I'm starting. So I wrote a little something because I don't know why I got a bit shy to talk. So I'm reading my stuff, okay? So to begin, so the reason I met Makassar aren't at first sight obvious. Like last year, as you were talking, like while you were introducing me, I was working on my PhD in arts, and I did not work at all about Indonesia. I didn't know anything about Sulawesi and was as undocumented about the country as you can expect from someone who lives in France and is not working on Indonesia. So when I say I am not working on Indonesia, I mean I was working on the destruction in the 50s by modernism of folk art, architecture, ecological knowledge of farmers' community on the French territory. So before meeting Makassar, I actually met Hannigan during Documenta 15 in Kassel, Germany. I visited the exhibition with people of my lab of the art school of Saint-Étienne because of Ernesto Oroza, our colleague, who was part of the Documenta program. So now that you can stay there on this one, there's not many slides. So yeah, Ernesto invited us to visit and meet Hannigan, who was from the curatorial team. I wasn't even eager to visit this exhibition because from my experience at that time, like famous international art events make me feel weird and disconnected, often also because they are led by kind of grooming oriented networks and organization. So you see, until now, it's not a very direct connection between Makassar and I. It became more direct because I actually loved the show. I discovered artists working within communities, questioning how to take care of relation with plants, animals, season, even after the shock of modernization. So a lot of things to which I could relate. So I came to Indonesia because Ernesto was creating an art and design exchange between Saint-Étienne, the place I did my PhD, and Makassar. And at that time, as you also introduced it, I was writing the last chapter of my PhD dissertation. So I knew I would be there for 1 month. And I knew on what I was working. I had a very vague but kind of nice idea of what people in Riwanwa were doing. I wrote to the French Institute a draft of things we could do together, but nothing was really planned and the project wasn't very well defined. But we figured it out together. Actually, all these unclear details are important, I think, because if we met, it's obviously not because of my special interest in Indonesia or Riwanwa's resident special interest into me or my French background, but because we have a common interest for ways to share knowledge, a different way to share those knowledge than the ones defined by Western modernism. So first, when I arrived, we took some time doing nothing. So that was actually my first slide. But when we say doing nothing, it's actually not really doing nothing. It's eating together, making jokes together, talking about politics, about Japanese anime, about French and Indonesian history, or having like nothing special to say, but together. So that's not nothing. That's getting to know each other at a very slow pace. So yeah, I had this picture that was the only one I could find on my computer, and I thought it was still a relevant documentation of this moment, the one with the phone and Jordi on it, a very famous French artist. Well, so for my PhD, I was writing about two communities. So after this, after a few days, we moved with, as you said also, Reza and Hannigan to Nrekang for a study. In Nrekang for a few days, since a few years, people are quitting traditional agriculture to embrace red onion monoculture. And so, yeah, for my PhD, I was writing about two communities living from the subsistence who had been expropriated by for two modern projects led by the French state. And I was investigating on the social ecological consequences of this project. So the study we did in Ndrekang felt a bit parallel. The context was different, of course, but here we also could see the social ecological consequences that monoculture was introducing. So that was also my slide, the one just before, where you can see red onions growing there. And so there we interviewed people about folk legends and beliefs about rituals that were disappearing. To me, it became more obvious there that the disaster was not only social and ecological, but also a poetical one. Because here we could see ways to interpret and nurture relation between plants, animals, wind, water that were vanishing. And actually the same things happened on the French territory, but a generation or two ago. So in France, I could only guess and imagine those relations that had been erased. In Ndrekang, I could see it directly. But in Ndrekang, we also met people who adapted differently to modern agriculture, who still grew the traditional mandoti rice and who still nurtured connection to ecosystems. And one of these connections, yes, perfect, but those are those two slides. One of those connections is through which people practice this relation is through food, through cooking, through eating. So that's something we experience together with the Nasu Chemba. So the slide before is the three of us, kind of Reza, Andan, and I, developing an addiction for this dish. It is made, as you can see, with the leaves of the tree, the chemba, that only grows in Ndrekang on the whole planet, apparently. And it is served with mandoti, the traditional special pulper rice that people use to plant before onions. And the one on the picture is the head of Mickey, made of mandoti rice, made by the son of Andan. Yes. So this Nasu Chemba, I think, was one of the starting points of the Nasu Chemba workshop that were experimented in Riwanua when we came back, and that took place many other time after I left. So maybe Besse and Nurul could talk about them, maybe. So yeah. Talking with people about Riwanua, about food, about history, about all the languages and the dialects spoken in Indonesia, it made me wonder what was left in France of our non-modern culture. Before the residency, I was working on the destruction of knowledge, but after I wondered what was surviving. If things survived in France, how to reappropriate them. So this is now what I'm focusing on for my next researches. Like, for instance, all this conversation about the connection between like dialect and plant, for instance, it made me want to go with a friends to a social club in which we could learn our grandparents' language, which was not French, but Arpitan or Occitan. So we met there new friends and learned very beautiful things, and that we want to develop now. So, and this, I think, wouldn't have happened so fast without those conversations. So yeah, things in Makassar helped me understand things that were right under my nose in France. And there's many, many more things to say, but I want to conclude because all this little text is, I think, kind of a praise for unexpected meetings, relation that holds space for randomness, coincidence, unproductive talks that actually turn into emancipating friendship and long-term projects. And I thought that maybe that's how we practice a form of knowledge exchange that's kind of challenge Western ways to produce sciences. So last thing, I got a grant to come back to Makassar at the end of this year.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really? Yay, yay, yay!
We'll meet you again. We will have a reunion.
Whoa!
Yeah, and so we have support to continue this documentation project and like, and so yeah, so it was 3 years ago, so many things have changed since, but yeah, we have many more things to do together, apparently.
Definitely.
Definitely. Wow, great. That's a great news. I think before you leave Makassar 3 years ago, oh no, I kind of like say to Delphine that when you come back again, you're going to be like Dr. Delphine. And if you visit it again, I'm going to welcome you in the in the airport with Dr. Delphine.
Oh my
So you
God,
need to make that happen, Uno. When she is visiting, by the end of the year, make sure that you had a banner like "Welcome to Makassar, Dr. Delphine."
Awesome. And you will have like a super blushing Delphine, like, yeah.
I wanted
It
to
was
see
gonna
the
be an
reaction.
awkward and cute moment.
Oh God, it's a good news. Thank you. So there's a lot, of course, to talk about that. I'm going to kind of like say something first, Uno, about this. Maybe kind of like discussion a little bit with Liam and Delphine. Like like Delphine said that I didn't have any research about Indonesia before coming here. And then, like Liam said, I only meet Andan, who is Indonesian. And then suddenly you go and visit this country. So I think it's good to kind of like touch on that point on how can meeting someone who represents a very little bit of the country, and then you kind of like decide to go and visit the country where he's come from just by meeting him. It's quite like a kind of like, I don't know, uh how you find it. Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask these questions, because it kind of like same between you two. So I kind of like know Delphine's stories about like when she visited like the exhibitions, and it feels different and everything, because we kind of like have the conversations about that. But then to Liam, to only meet this person in two different places, and then finally say that, okay, I'm going to visit where he's coming from, like the country where he's coming from. Like how is it connected to yourself as well? Maybe you can talk a little bit about that, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. It does seem like a very tangential connection, to say the least, but um, it's interesting to think about it from um, well, Delphine was approaching it from the sort of ecological perspective as the starting point. I was coming at it from the art angle, but nonetheless could see the, as I mentioned, the sort of the collaboration and the connections that were informing and influencing the messages of the artworks. Especially in the history memory commemoration works that were composed of sort of interviews in the street with local people, but also friends of Andan and Iswanto Hartono as well, um, to kind of see how they're relying on their network to make these broader pieces, was what was really inspiring initially. I think the other point of connection I can see with also with Delphine's exploration of the sort of move towards monoculture is how the Ganefa work and the history memory commemoration are interested in monoculture as nationalism itself as a form of monoculture, and as opposed to in agricultural terms, but in cultural terms, but thinking very much about how culture and agriculture are linked, even in etymological sense too. So these kind of attentions to ecologies and agriculture really fit into the artworks too. So I wanted to go back to the roots, I think was why I was so inspired by Andan's projects and by his kind of mission as well.
Yeah, like maybe the approach, like, is it really different with the, well, I don't know if I made it too strong and everything, but is it really different with the Western approach of the artist that you may meet before? So you kind of like, it's different. Why? How can they make a project with like interviewing the friends of friend and everything? So is it like that, Liam?
Yeah, absolutely. To a certain extent, there's definitely a focus the individual artist and the authorship of the artist over their own artwork. Here even that the titles of the work were Musiwara Arsip or Riwanwa, or there's the name isn't even mentioned. It's kind of exposed, sort of buried with all these collaborations, and also the collaboration with the SOP, the Syndicate Otak Plastic as well. It's showing how even when they have these opportunities to present in these international exhibitions, they're still bringing their friends along and bringing them into the exhibitions too, which I think is what was so inspiring, and what I wanted to learn more about as well.
Oh, amazing. Any comment on that, Delphine? Is it like resonate with your experience as well?
I think so. Like how to say, like as you mentioned, like this exhibition, I was feeling that something was different in the way to organize, not only to do some curating, not only to show, but it felt like something that was coming from a kind of organization that I was really curious about. And it's, of course, I met Andan, but I met also all the shows. I could see the people who were like showing their work in it, and so it made me curious. Like, but as I said, also it was a lot of unexpected. I just had like, I really like the proverb you shared, Liam, about like a bug. No, the bug, like, or don't remember the exact things.
The bug
I was like,
recognizes another bug, yeah.
feels like I should meet the bugs there.
That's yeah. So Uno, what about you? Do you have anything to say on that things?
Yeah, it's really interesting when Delphine said about doing nothing in Ruanua. Because yeah, that's our method, like to know each other, to be present. You don't have to look at our CV resume and then learn about nothing passed on this paper, but to know this person in person, just hanging out together. So that's why we call it ecosystem, that we want to help each others sustain our relation through this kind of share the resource. That's what Liam said, that we want to invite friends in this Thailand Biennale idea. We invite everyone in our ecosystem, in our connections, so we can learn together, we can sit together, we can share our vision together, because we already doing nothing together. We already present together. That's really interesting that that is part of your reflection when you here in Riwanwa, in Makassar, because we see how we interact to other people differently. Our context is different, so we reach out to people with different way. So we cannot compare this kind of thing, and we see differently, and then we reflect on it.
Yeah, and it could be frustrating for some people. So
Yeah.
and Delphine, I know, not that I know, I kind of like can guess like how you work. Like Delphine said, I don't have any plan yet, but like when I visit, we just like sitting and then like doing nothing. It's good that Uno touched on that things. And then maybe Liam experienced it as well. You don't really go visit places, you don't really go visit museums, you don't really go visit those kind of things, but like really connect with the place itself, Riwanwa itself, the people who is actually working in this. And then it could be frustrating for some people who is maybe coming from the perspective of everything should be planned, everything should be blah, 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 blah. So coming from those culture, maybe it could be, for some people, it could be stressing out. I mean, we kind of like have a history when people coming and says like, you don't really give us something. It could be. So someone can actually say that when they visit. But like, it's good that Delphine put on that. What about you, Liam? When you visit, do you feel like why people are so laid back here? Or maybe you have those kind of vibe like, why they don't do anything? So they need to take me somewhere. Is there anything that you feel like that when you visit Riwanua or Makassar, right?
That you have.
Yeah.
No, definitely not a sense of
Okay.
of frustration, but I think to that's why it's so important to go in with the expectation and the openness of learning, of seeing how things work, and importantly, as you were saying, Uno, it's the local knowledge, it's the specificity of Makassar, and then bringing your own local knowledge to sort of interact with that. So it's about an openness to listening, but then also an openness to share your own thoughts and feelings too. I
Yeah.
think also in line with what Delphine was mentioning, the sort of randomness of things too. I talked with Farid Raccoon, who's another close friend of Andan's, but who works more in the good school in Jakarta, who talked about this idea of the random forest, he called it, that that the way the projects work is these sort of random growths, that there's no order or structure to the growth of the trees or whatever within this forest. And that kind of openness to randomness, to sporadic collaborations and events, I think is what is happening when you just sort of sit down sometimes and do nothing for a little bit as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Delphine
think
and
many of the people, yeah, to who I told how this residency happened in Indonesia were really surprised in France. Like, really, you did so much naps. Like, you ate so much. There's so many pictures of you just hanging out.
Thank you for
And
mentioning it.
and still like
Exactly.
it's residency and it's full of people like really seriously working on subject. Yeah, that's totally valid methodology. And yeah, I try to how to say to support it in France, like to just to do naps together, to just have a random chit chat is something we should develop much more in universities and in art space.
really great.
Yeah.
Yes, Una.
I have I have an experience when someone's ask me what did you do in Riwanua? The answer will be like just eating together, watching together, cooking together, eating again, watching it again. It's just part of our daily life that we want to connect to our friends because you know in this economy, in this situation, we kind of focus on ourselves, our world, our room. It's really I'm very grateful that Riwanua exists in my life because after I finish with my work in the afternoon, I can connect with people, with real people that I can connect with with my vision, with my passion. So that's really what connection means to me. Because
That's
yeah, you're hanging out together, you cooking together, and then you just happy together, isn't it? Part of our life. Although we focus on art. Yeah. Yes,
I
Tim?
remember when I arrived and I asked if you worked in Rwanda, and you laughed and you said no, we don't work here. So I think that was a good
Not a word.
introduction as well, as soon as I arrived from the airport.
yeah, yeah. We never thought Riwanua or like Riwanua as a working place. So it's not for us. And I think Uno also touched on that point about Mapasau. That's why then our like in Thailand Binal we have like Mapasau, which actually means that our public program in Thailand Binal in Phuket as well is like inviting people to actually come cooking together and then eat together, and then by doing that we are actually healing each other.
Yeah.
So that's the part of it. So that's the idea of this program, to actually just sharing those kind of things. You kind of like put your story there. It's good to see. And then like Uno says, we so I got those experience myself. So it's not just about the place, but also the people.
Yeah.
So a little bit about this. So I moved to Aceh, which is an hour like an hour time different with Makassar, and then last year we all meet in Phuket again. And the moment I arrived in Phuket, it feels like home again.
Oh,
Because I meet these people in Riwanua where I can actually connect each other. So those kind of things that even if the place is changing, but the people is there, I know that this is the place where I can actually connect with people. Those kind of things that we actually have those kind of like bond in things. Uno. So yeah, thank you. So like yeah, it's just something that we talk about. Anything else, Uno?
yeah. I think it's really good to have this Zoom meeting, this session, because that's the idea. We want to sustain together, like we want to connect again. Eh, even though we have time zone, 5 time this zone different, but we can connect with a lot of medium. It's not a problem, even though you are not in Makassar, but we have a lot of device connection, internet connection, I mean. And then yeah, that's how that's a lot of things that we can do to stay at the same page. Because Delphine already mentioned about uh her plan to go back to Makassar. So yeah, that's the idea. To connect again, to maintain this friendship, to maintain this ecosystem. And maybe Liam, you have to come back again to finish your reading about Pramudia Anantatur, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I read
Yeah,
the
finish
first
the
two
novel.
books of Pramodya, yeah, and I really
Yeah,
enjoyed them.
you should come and finish these novels,
There's two
right?
more to read, yeah. And I
Yes.
think the other thing I wanted to hint to is I've been talking with Andan about organizing something in Ireland of video works from Makassar, and also maybe Delphine's project filming the about the red onion monocultures as well. So that there are that there are future moments to connect more broadly as well, and as you were saying, Besse, to bring Makassar in some way to other places as well, to bring that kind of connection is also an opportunity that hopefully we can do more in the future.
Of course, of
Of
course.
course, definitely will do. Woo, on fire. I love this session.
It's really great that I mean Liam's is going to have those project foreseeing in the future, and then Delphine is going to come to Makassar again to kind of like see what's different now,
Mm.
and also bringing of course new perspective and new stories. Of course, we wanted to see what happened to you in these 3 years. Those just kind of things like to catch up to by eating together and everything. So yeah, that's really great. And then I think it's also great that we need to understand that this our talk today is part of Thailand Biennial. And then I think please I'm going to take a moment to actually kind of like not kind of like introduce but actually saying like what happened in this Thailand Biennial in Phuket. So they call it Eternal Kalpa, featuring works from over 60 artists and collectives from 25 countries spread across 19 main venues in Phuket. And so far, this event has been attended by thousands of people since it was opened in November 2025 last year. Eternal Kalpa is conceived and realized by artistic director Irene Rungjang and David Teh and curators Hera Chan and Marisa Pandarakrajadej. Thailand Biennales is organized by the Office of Contemporary Art and Culture, Thai Ministry of Culture, and the Provincial Government of Phuket. So a little bit maybe about sharing because we went to Phuket last year, like I mentioned. It was really great to see that the whole city was actually activated.
Mhm.
Uh, there's abandoned place that just become a place of artists. And I think I've just shared it in my stories in Instagram this morning. Uh, Maybe I wanted to actually say what what actually Hera, the curator says that the abandoned place where in Phuket, they actually activating it, so the collective of artists can think together what could happen in this place that already abandoned. And I guess that's the part of the ideas of connections. That's why we have like the Koneksi TAMALANREA to actually building the ecosystem where artists can actually have, and then our place in Phuket, what it's called, Uni? Oh no, the hotel, the abandoned
Welcome
hotel.
to the hotel, Mellow Pillow. We have a song.
It's called Mellow Pillow. And then that's our hotel. Like it's actually abandoned hotel. It was hotel before, and then we activated with many different artists, maybe 6 or 7 artists in that same building.
Yeah.
And yeah, we kind of like doing a lot of things together when we activated when we activated the place last year. So it was really fun and everything. So Uno, anything else? So I think it's important to actually say this as a part of Thailand Biennale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe if the question, what is Koneksi Tamalanrea is because we talk about Koneksi Tamalanrea all the time, connection becomes our keywords of this station. So yeah, I need to describe what is it, Koneksi Tamalanrea, because me and Kabasi also use this as our name in the Zooms. Yeah, Koneksi Tamalanrea, a Makassar-based initiative started in 2024, which collaborate with diverse individuals and groups across boundaries. So yeah, we invite a lot of friends in this Koneksi TAMALANREA. We build on mutual support, including time, space, knowledge, creative works, and resource to ensure sustainability. So we want to live together. So we have to make this Koneksi TAMALANREA going beyond Thailand Biennale. Oh yeah. Maybe you, Delphine, Liam, or Kawase want to say something before we want to continue this session with another platform in another time, another session?
Yep. I guess we mentioned about the Thailand Biennale as a part of this. Maybe just like a little bit questions to Liam and Delphine. I don't know, my internet connections. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think I got a little bit of trouble there, but
Mhm.
I hope you can still hear me. So my questions to Liam and Delphine. So what's next? So
Fine.
you say
That's
it.
the
Yeah.
question.
Yes. So you already mentioned about maybe you can bring Makassar to other places. Delphine will going to come to Indonesia and everything. But instead of asking what's next, I'm just going to say, what is your core memory? Like if you can kind of like something that you still feel until now when we say about Makassar, when we say about your visit, your
Life-changing memory.
yeah, it's kind of like we wanted to know what you still bring home even until now. Something, maybe it could be like a feeling, it could be kind of like a story to share, or maybe like something. Maybe we can go on that part now.
Yeah, I can just start. I think as my presentation showed as well, it was the big fish dinner, and I think from the whole day of that, from going very early in the morning to the market to see them all laid out, to see the boats just coming in with them, but also importantly who I was with Ian and Fami as well, to spend the day with them, to hear about their connection with the city, and then to go through that process of from catching, well, we didn't catch it obviously, but from buying it to cooking it all together at the end of the day, and the sort of the space that opens up for conversation as well when you're all eating together, and sort of non-cronging for hours as well.
Thank you, Liam. Yeah. What about you, Delphine?
And I could say, like, we talked a lot about like the doing nothing part, and like here, like especially after like my PhD, I had to get a job, to find new things to do, and to, I mean, remembering all those moments with you made me like always, it's always a reminder, like I'm not living for my work and to earn money. Like the point of the interesting things in life are just to spend time doing nothing with my friends here and abroad as well. And but it's a fight, it's a struggle here in France right now, to but to keep this time for nothing. So right now, like there's my friend Paul, who is just next door and visiting me in Marseille, and I know that just after this talk we are gonna hang out in Marseille and just watch the sea, eat maybe also some fish and have some stuff. And that's the kind of things I want to remember, like and that also, even when I was, I think, doing my PhD defense, which is something on which people have a lot of expectation, I was just trying to remember always, and all with these memories with you also, that the point is not the PhD defense, not the status, not how amazing that's gonna be. It's also like we are doing this because we like to share knowledge, and that other ways to share knowledge can be through hanging out all together. So this, as I think what I said is totally unclear, but it's come from the heart.
No, it's beautiful, Delphine. It's beautiful how you put that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that those kind of things actually you feel. And then of course our hope that when you come back, of course, Liam, please come back again and visit and doing a lot of projects, of course. But then those are the things that of course it's very beautiful to kind of like you get those energy from your stay in Makassar, and we want that because like I said, the experience, the place maybe could be different, but we want you to get those energy to actually reminding yourself that in this saying what Uno says, in this economy and in this crazy world right now, it's always good to actually settle down and see that, to connect to people. The connection, TAMALANREA connections, the Koneksi TAMALANREA is actually what is it about. So
Yeah.
actually sit and talk to people, doing nothing, maybe just cook together a very simple things that maybe in this world right now it's very difficult to do, but it's actually can give you mapasau, can give you heal that we want. So yeah, Uno.
Yep. Before we close this meeting session, I want to address a special mention, the one and only Kabota Nugraha Salim. There are 5 participants actually in this Zoom meeting. Kabota Nugraha Salim is also part of Koneksi TAMALANREA. He is the man behind the scene who manage all the technicalities of this Zoom meeting that can make this situation happen. Thank you, Kabota.
Thank
Woohoo!
you.
You
And
are the
then he's
hero.
all the way from Australia, yeah. So he's
Yeah.
not in Makassar as well. So yeah.
Kabota, Kabota.
So we still have 5 minutes, Uno, because we're going to stop at 10:15. So it's now, I think, like we've said everything that we need to say. Any last comment, Liam, Delphine? I think yeah, you say it, but then anything else you actually wanted to add on that? We have 5 minutes to go because we're going to stop at 5 minutes from now. So yeah, I don't know which time are you, but like 5 minutes from now, okay? Because we have to many different times.
I think I just wanted to add a little bit to, especially what Delphine was saying initially about looking at the destruction of practices in France, but then after visiting Makassar, thinking about ways of restoring or learning from the past generations that hasn't completely died out. So ways to reconnect with sort of cultural memory. And I was also thinking about it just in the context of Ireland as well, and the Irish language too, and returning home and thinking about how I can initiate similar projects as well, in the future, and hopefully this summer, that follow a kind of similar ethos to what is happening in Makassar as well. So definitely, and more inspiration and more along the lines of what's next as well.
Yes, of course, Liam. Thanks.
And like for me, like there's also to go on with what you're saying, Liam, about like questioning back home about what's left or how to make it live. And you will say maybe I'm a bit obsessed with naps and like sleeping in the daytime, but I told you I was taking lessons of Occitan and Arpitan language in France. And I thought that, there's in the culture from the southeast of France also a big passion for sleeping in the afternoon. And actually, in some dialects of Ardèche, so near to my hometown, the words nap and afternoon is the same. Like, really, this means the same thing. So it means people were just enjoying their whole time afternoon by sleeping before modernism. So I found it really inspiring also as a connection between things. So yeah.
Yes, definitely, Delphine. So yeah, maybe any last comment, Uno?
Maybe I just want to promote our Koneksi TAMALANREA.
Yes,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah. But so we will have a program offline in Phuket. We'll back again at Phuket during last week of the Biennale from 24 to 13 April on site in Phuket with Malaja or screening, talks, ada pungeng or workshop, and also karaoke till the morning.
We did a lot of karaoke, yeah. We did a lot of
Yeah.
karaoke in Phuket. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like another Mappasau, at least for me. I can actually
Delphine
go
and
on.
Liam have to come back to Makassar so we can try this method, karaoke as a method, we call it. Yeah. Also, we have the works of Armin, Hari, and the charcoal on canvas of Sindikat Otak Plastik, our connection, our friends, our ecosystem. So yeah, that's all for this session. It was really beautiful to talk, to listen again with you guys. Thank you very much. It's such a beautiful feeling because you share your reflection on Makassar and what you got from our meeting in Makassar as a connection between these 5 different time zones. So yeah, thank you very much. We will see you very soon to have a lot of things together again in the future, to sustain together in this economy together. So yeah.
Thank you, No. Thank you, Liam and Delphine. Have a great day.
Have
For
a
you,
great
we're
day.
going to go to bed at the moment in our time zone.
Yeah, good
And
morning,
going
good
to
afternoon,
continue.
good
Good
yeah,
everything.
good
Thank you.
everything.
See you
Yeah,
soon.
Luck and
Talk
everything.
with you again.
Bye. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Delphine.
Thank
Bye,
Bye.
Liam. Bye.
Delphine.
Baturate 5.000 bulan